What's going on, fellow chopped men and chopped women? We're back for another video, this time going through Reddit posts with the most unhinged things that people have ever done. I went through here and I got me a couple of different posts, just scrolled through, found a couple of funny ones, found a couple of ones that I'd like to share with y'all, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So I won't keep y'all too long in the intro because I want some of y'all to stay around, you know what I'm saying? So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Come on. So, Darkwing Duck Ghosts asks, what's the most unhinged thing you've done? And the first story that we have is from Minecraft Finn, right? And he says, I was pickpocketed in Barcelona, and something snapped in my brain to make me realize it happened. A guy had bumped into me on the way out of an airport, and about 10 seconds later, I realized my wallet's gone. I had been flying for hours and gone through airport security twice, so I was all out of patience for the day, and I snapped and took off sprinting. I see the guy and tackle him and slam him into a wall and start yelling at him to give me my wallet back. Okay, I'm just gonna stop you right there. Dude, what were you on to actually be able to notice your wallet go missing after that many hours of flying? I'm not really likely to notice my wallet go missing even if I've just been awake for a couple of hours, much less if I've been flying for that much, so props to you, man. But he says, my friends who were with me think that I lost my mind until I start going through the guy's pockets and find my wallet. At this point, there were 3 other guys there shouting at me in Spanish, and we were a short way from the entrance to the airport. One of the guys rips out his ID and points at it, which looks like some kind of cop ID that went through the washer a couple 20 times. I'm not buying it since the guy does not speak a hint of English and his ID is unreadable. He's holding me by my collar and I'm holding him, and I decide, fuck it, there are real cops in the airport. So I start dragging the guy there, and when we reach the revolving door, it's me, the thief, and my 2 friends, and the 3 screaming guys. And now I see that each screaming guy has a pistol holstered under their jacket. I'm not gonna lie, the first time reading through this, I thought OP was just gonna get jumped. Because this does not sound like a good situation to be a part of, I'm not gonna lie. And he says, so I start screaming, airport cops show up, and it turns out the 3 screaming guys were doing an undercover sting operation to catch this pickpocketer who had been evading them for months. I had to spend 8 hours giving a report and then Skype in as a witness months later. I was there for 2 days to see At the Drive in play. That is wild. I've never been out of the country, but I can tell you, if I went out of the country and my first experience was getting mugged and then having to be a witness for the guy that I beat up for mugging me, I probably would never leave again. So I hope you got over that and you keep going to see, you know, whatever you go see in other countries. I don't know. Next we have Commander Biffle, who says, probably smoke a Twix bar. Tasted awful.
Ugh.
Why? Why would you... Why would you smoke a Twix bar? What possessed you to think that that shit would be good? Come on, dude. Oh my god. Alright, we got another actual story now by Spicy Snails. Killer screen name. In my early 20s, might have been 19, I don't recall the specifics, my friend and I used to go to anime conventions together. We were dirt poor and barely scraped together the money to go to the convention at all, so we shared the shittiest of motel rooms. Far more people stayed there than we declared, and we brought a lot of canned soup and Chef Boyardee to eat since restaurants were too expensive. I would splurge on 1 Taco Bell meal per convention at 2 in the morning when walking back to the motel, but the rest of the time we ate our high-class Italian food. Anyways, on one occasion, we must have had a weird batch of Chef Boyardee cans, because 2 or 3 of them had the little self-opening tabs break off when we were trying to open them, leaving us with no way to open. This was problematic because we were out of cash and hungry from a long day of being giant nerds. Can relate. We had no can opener and no common sense, but we had an excess of bullheadedness. We smashed the cans, threw them, dented them to no avail. But finally, one of us realized we had brought an old, heavy-duty pair of scissors made entirely out of metal. Just in case. Just in case what? Nobody knows, but it seemed like the sort of thing you might need. Turns out, if you're desperate and determined and more than half feral, you can open a few cans of Chef Boyardee with a giant pair of scissors and a big-ass shoe. We ate our cold, can't believe it's not pasta in triumph. That's how eating Chef Boyardee out of a whole chopped and peeled out of the side of a can, cold, is a core memory of mine. Look, man, I can't really judge you too much. I actually have had a similar experience, except instead of using scissors, I had to take a knife, and with like another knife and my palm, I had to beat the knife into the can and pry it open like that. No, it wasn't Chef Boyardee. It might have been cranberry sauce. Look, I was hungry. There wasn't much else to choose from, alright? I was doing my best, okay? Cool Pension 9723 says, my then boyfriend's sister drove cross country, showed up at our door, and convinced boyfriend to leave me. She was staying with a friend at the local Air Force base. I knew she was a toker and would be carrying. I called the MPs on base about her. They pulled her and impounded a car. Not a good thing to do on a federal base. I didn't tell him for years. You're better than me, because I would have told him the day of. I would have told him 10 minutes after it happened. Gotta really put that salt in the wound, you know? Deleted says, took a dump on the playground when I was 6 and blamed it on the special needs kid.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass.
I understand why your account is deleted. I, too, would have realized that that is not something I want my name connected to. On that note, I think I'm gonna call it quits. I think we've seen enough of unhinged things today. But with that whole video being done, I hope you guys stayed to the end, and I hope you guys pull up for the next video where we chop up some reads there too. Peace out, crew.